ده ممكن تمسك كده يعني.
It's a very good idea. Actually, I have worked in a number of countries in East Africa with a lot of regional maps of state. But the unique idea in Mozambique, I think, we will consider it when we come up with those maps. They exclude the land cover attributes. I think this is a very intelligent idea because this is one of the problems here in this country also. When they produce such maps for investment, there is always a lot of conflicts, problems. But when you exclude such attributes, I think this is a very good idea. The other idea also, they really put in practice the land cover map. I wonder if this land cover map, this is the AfriCover maps, and if it was updated or not. I think this is one of our headaches here in Sudan till now. This AfriCover map, it is one of the very good FAO products, but it is very much needed from all African countries to update this map and use it like such kind of use to take out or exclude the land cover attributes. I think this is a very good idea, and we would like to have really this product to look into it carefully because this is very much needed in all countries. I mean, it's a very good idea. The other work about in Mauritius about the micronutrients is very also very good to characterize the whole country and to come up with those kind of correlation regulations. But still, I think we should look carefully into the macronutrients, especially in relation to human nutrition and all these aspects. I don't know how much the sugar cane itself will take of the soil of those elements. But for sure, zinc is one of the very important nutrients for human health. Thank you.
Mozambique was under the Portuguese imperialism for 500 years. And then they struggled very much and they got their independence. So let us, from this place, congratulate them. They are a very great nation, something like this. Now I am directing this question to you. Mozambique is a very beautiful country, very beautiful, and it has all the resources for agriculture and everything. Soils, good climate, water, everything. But I wonder why Mozambique cannot move ahead. So this is a question. Mauritius, I want to know the yield of the sugar cane per hectare. This is one question. The other this, I want him to advise us. Here, the Sudan is growing a lot of the sugar cane. Now the plan of the state, of the Sudanese state, they want to grow, to produce 15 million tons of the sugar. I want your advice. Do you think this is advisable? Now we hear you that, you said that, sugarcane prices are going down and all these things. Thank you very much.
My first question is to Mauritius. What is the objective of this study? Because as you didn't mention something about deficiency. No recommendation for nutrients, micronutrients, the application of micronutrients, and all the conditions, all the other conditions, are not telling about deficiency, because as to the climate, as to the all things, confirming available micronutrients to why you entered in this project originally? Because no signs of deficiency, or at least you didn't mention something like that. And also, my question is for sugarcane. Also needs very exhaustive crop needs heavy feeder crop, especially in this sphere. So I think if you classify your soils based just on soil, it may be not, for example, give moderate zinc available, moderate high, without looking to the crop. We have no data about, no correlation between data in crop and soil. This is also, I think, needs something. Really limited, yeah, as crop. And I think this question may be discussed later with you, because now we have potential area for tea, especially after the comprehensive peace agreement in the south, especially in Ironstone Plateau in the south. But I think we need more information about tea in your country, more about your soils that are grown under tea in your country, to compare or to exchange information. Is those conditions more or less comparable to our conditions, to say something in future about tea production in Sudan or not?
It's just a clarity for Mauritius. 95% of the land is privately owned, and only 5% is for government. Now you have a population of 1.8 million, and 33% of that is strictly for sugarcane. Now I want to just find out the balance of the correlation between for agrarian practices versus the population. Just the clarity over there. I think the same goes to Kenya. You also have 95% of your tea being produced or exported into the country, and 5% is left. Now 5% is left for Mauritius again, owned by government. Well, for Mozambique, I won't hit you very hard. I know on the 28th of November you are voting. Probably things will move in there. Maybe you may still want to clarify over there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is directed to Dr. Badrik in Kenya. He mentioned a lot about tea and not coffee. And he pointed about potatoes, which is not a cash crop. I have seen that area and a lot of coffee plantation over there. And as I know, Mount Kenya is a volcanic one, and we have got ash on the eastern side. And you mentioned about the soils, they are clay and bearing to silt. If you can give a little bit about the texture classes over there. And I wondered, I crossed the mountain to the other western side. It is completely arid with acacia sayal, and you think you are in Sudan. And then if you move a little bit to the north, you come to the tropical areas again in Yambio and Juba, where plantation of tobacco and tea. For Mozambique, I must congratulate him for the excellent work done over there, giving different scenarios for investment and development, and they are very lucky enough their country is too small. But here in our case, it is a continent. We don't know where to start and where to end. For Mauritius, you mentioned three orders: oxysols, vertisols, and insectisols. Here in Sudan, we are growing in vertisols, and one area we are going in alphisol soils. And the production of the alphisol is far beyond the vertisols, because perhaps maybe of the moisture, water balance, and all those sorts of watering. Which one is, can you evaluate the production in vertisols with exosols, with insectisols? Thank you.
I agree with that. But you know, there has been a very strong lobby against consumption of sugar, right? Because of the non-communicable diseases and diabetes, right? So people are being advised to consume less and less of sugar. So the micronutrient content as such is not an important part of sugar. But of course, definitely it is for other vegetables, other crops. The second question was, what is the yield of sugarcane? Of course, it varies from soil to soil, cultural practices. It varies also what type of planters we have. The small planters cultivating 2 hectares or 1 hectare normally has a lower yield because of the land being marginal, rocky, or on slopey lands. But on an average, it's about 100 tons per hectare, 100 tons per hectare, and that is equivalent to about 10 tons of sugar, white sugar per hectare. Your question of increasing your production to 15 million tons of sugarcane, well, it depends if you have a market. If you have a market for it, the market can absorb that, that's fine. For us, the country is very open, right? It is export-oriented 100%, right? And then all our exports were going to the EU. Now with the World Trade Organization on globalization, well, we no longer have guaranteed price. So we have to export our sugar on the same level as Brazil or as Australia, where the cost of production is low, right? So it depends on the market. If you have the market, please go ahead. The next question was about correlation between the crop and the plant. Yes, please be assured that all the crops, all the soil samples were analyzed, and the plants growing there in situ, they were also analyzed. And the method that we used was to correlate these two, right? And we did not observe in the field any visual deficiency symptom. There was no visual deficiency symptom. We also analyzed the leaves. You know, we have a very standard way of analyzing sugarcane leaves. It's the third dew lap, right? We analyzed it. There was no evidence. Then the question was, why did we go for that study, isn't it? We went for the study because, as I told you, our yield was already saturated. No matter what we were doing, there was a plateau to the yield. We could not increase it further. And our literature search showed that countries growing sugarcane, like Australia, like South Africa, like Hawaii, they have already had evidence, they have already seen there was micronutrient deficiency, and by application of corrective measures, they were increasing the yield. So that was what prompted us to do. And as I said, this was the first type of the study. This was a baseline data from which you can build up now, right? So there was an urgency, there was a need to carrying out this study. The next question was, the land in Mauritius is 95% privately owned. Yes, it is privately owned with a population of 1.3 million rupees. Sorry, with a population of 1,300,000, right? And you said, can you repeat your question? That the whole island, the land is 95% owned by individuals. Yeah, and 5% is what the government has. Okay,
Private includes
it includes the infrastructure, it includes the farmers, it includes everything.
Yeah.
And if you want to know why it is like this, it's because when the colonizers came, the French, right, they just said, okay, this part for you, this part for you. So when the government came, actually there was no land for him, right?
I think he just gets ready.
Man, I'll address my two questions, but I want to tell my colleague from Sudan, we are very ready to collaborate with you when it comes to sharing the data, the soils data on tea growing areas. And that's why we are having this meeting, so that we can be able to network together. So you are welcome, we can share our addresses. Why do we export 95% of our tea and we take 5%? Actually, I never told you we are taking very low quality tea, the 5%. And the 95% is the creams, because we want to get the dollars. But we are trying to market also our people to take tea more, so that there is a local market within our, our country. So we should not export always everything. We should also, get money from within the country. The other issue is coffee. Why didn't I mention coffee? Because it's also quite important then as an export, crop. I mentioned potatoes and the sweet potatoes deliberately because, as you are aware, sometimes the market of coffee went down so much such that the farmers in my country started uprooting coffee in those areas where we are growing coffee because it was not giving us good money. So people went to horticulture in areas where we are growing coffee. They uprooted the coffee. They started going to flowers, to crops which will bring money. So we have got very low yield now of coffee. But now it is picking up. People are trying now to plant again because the market is very good for coffee. The other question you ask is about the textures. The range where we are growing this, where we have these ascent soils, it ranges from sandy clay loam to clay in between. Okay, in the upper zone, zone 1, we have got silty clay loams for this androsos. We are also growing tea there and also sweet potatoes. And these are ascent soils within the country. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman, and all the other people that have contributed. In fact, what I have to do here is to give some comments. The land use and the land cover map. There was a project which lasted about 4 years, and we got a published map in 2007. So that one was a really very good data, because when we compare that data with the census that was also carried out, especially for farmers in the rural areas, most of the time it coincides where those small plots and the people are living there. The other question is why Mozambique, if he has good soils, good climate, but still, there are many reasons. One of the reasons is it was a war, in fact, and also there are some, I may say, political reasons that the southern party is the one is ruling, and the southern party is very poor in terms of agriculture. It's mainly only for livestock, and the agriculture production is coming from the north. And bringing food from the north to the south, it becomes much more expensive than going and buy it from South Africa. And it's only this year that we got a bridge fixed at the Zambezi River, and that one was a very, very big issue that could not allow people and moving goods from one side to another. Probably he said that on 28 we are voting, and one of the key issues that the ruling party is putting on the table is that if they win, so they fix a railway connecting south to the north. So if that comes through, then we're okay. And another issue is that the Kaora Bassa Dam was still 30 years ago, after we got independence, was still under Portuguese control. And last year was reverted to Mozambican government. So that one would be also one of the source for the economy. And thank you.
There was one more question. Where the yield higher? In the oxysol, vertisol, or inceptisol? That was the question. Normally in the inceptisols, the yield are higher because they are comparatively younger soils. right? And then they have irrigation as compared to the oxysol, generally speaking. Everything being equal, right, in terms of irrigation, fertilization, the insectisols, they give normally a higher yield.